on the 4th seed Maryland Terrapins. 8 teams dreaming of advancing on to San Antonio. This the sub-regional in the West. Take a look at the starting lineups right now, and a couple of teams that have never played one another. First, the Utah State Aggies. Not very big up front with Davis, Rice, and Johnson, the largest player in the starting lineup, 6'6". Marcus Saxon really makes this team go. For Maryland, Laron Profit, the team's leading scorer. Obina Akizi in the middle, largest man on the floor. Sharunas Yesikavicius, the starting 2-guard. He can gun it from long range. Iron Eagle, Jim Spinarkle, Mike Harris with you from the Arco Arena. Scott Thornley, Phil Bova, and Kerry Sitton, the officials. Johnson will jump it up with Akizi. Maryland, having played the toughest schedule in the nation, the Terrapins feel like they are ready for this tournament, having gotten knocked out the last 2 years in the first round. And we're underway from Sacramento. Maryland has controlled the tap.
Utah State starts out man-to-man. Look for Maryland to pop this on the blocks or down low.
Akizi, uncontested dunk to open the game.
With their size, it's going to be very, very important offensively to get it on the blocks and establish. And then watch their defense, Maryland. They will come up with traps. They'll be full court. Now they start with a 2-2-1.
Utah State setting a school record with 25 victories this season. Justin Jones, second in the nation in three-point shooting percentage. Look for him on the outside. Jones in a matchup with Profit.
The 2-2-1 defense goes into a man-to-man right now for Maryland. So Utah State and Saxon has to really make good decisions.
Shot clock down to 7, and Saxon draws the foul on Stokes.
He's an explosive type player and can take over basketball games. So Stokes will have his hands full. That's why I think you'll see a bunch of these traps. Maryland will come at you with 4 or 5 different looks, some half-court traps. They will try to help Stokes out defensively and take the ball out of this man's hands.
Marcus Saxon, the Big West Tournament most valuable player, averaged 27 points per game. Get a substitution early on with Brandon Burks checking into the game. He replaces Pharaoh Davis. One out of 2 for Saxon and a 2-1 lead for Maryland. They get it up the floor quickly.
Well, they will look to keep going to the blocks. Good defense just then.
Profit could not get it inside to Elliott. Utah State looking to take the lead. Rice off the pump fake. Leading jump shot doesn't go. Terps break out with Stokes. Profit on a crossover. 2-1 Terps.
The half-court set, expect them to touch the ball down low on the blocks. That's where they have to take advantage of the size.
Yesikavicius, it was blocked partially by Rice, but they get the bucket on the inside. Elliott.
Well, on block shots, it's difficult to rebound there. Nobody blocking out. The timing of the ball a little different.
Saxon handling the pressure, getting it across. Nice ball handling as Saxon takes it right to the goal.
One of the things he does so well is that double clutch going through the lane, usually under control, avoiding the charges.
Maryland wasting little time. Yesikavicius, the extra feed on the inside, and Elliott gets 2 more.
Wasn't real smooth, but brought some defenders in his direction, allowing Elliott to step across and get the dunk. And Utah State is going to talk things over, talk about the penetration and allowing it from the outside.
Larry Eustace in his 5th year at Utah State, 8th overall, unhappy with what his team has done defensively thus far.
Well, offensively, you can't be unhappy with Marcus Saxon. Watch him drift, watch him clutch, and looking around to make sure as his body leans from right to left, making sure he's not going to get a charge on that play. Here, Maryland trying to get one down on the gut. They're going to take the ball into the paint. A little sloppy coming through, lost the handle, but notice where the big fella Elliott is standing there. Can bring his game inside and outside, but very, very strong down deep.
You get the sense, though, if Utah State is going to stay in this game, they're going to do it with Marcus Saxon.
Oh, absolutely, and what they need to do, as you noticed just then, the full court pressure. They're trying not to allow Saxon to touch it. Make Jones handle the basketball as much as possible and close on him.
They do get it into the hands of Saxon. And Maryland backs off.
That's when they'll break it a little easier with Saxon handling.
Rice. jumper doesn't fall for Pharaoh Davis. Back in the game, ball knocked around and controlled by Yesikevicius. 6-3 Maryland. Elliott on a turnaround jumper and the foul.
That's a big-time move also. A little spin away from the defender to give himself some room and strokes it. We just saw Elliott go deep for a dunk. Watch him. Now watch, it's an awake pivot. There's the pivot away. He gives himself a foot. Bang, he hits the shot.
6 points for Elliott, a key reserve his first 3 years behind Keith Booth, who eventually went on to the next level, and Elliott has taken advantage of being the starter at the power forward position this season.
And after makes, look what they do. They come right back up. It gives them the opportunity to set it up. There's a little bump by Elliott, a little too aggressive. Jones using the pivot foot pretty good in that corner, but Gary Williams is going to keep the action way up tight. He wants to throw the kitchen sink at them early, see how they react.
Second team foul. Knocked around. Elliott tries to save, and Utah State will hold on to it. Maryland with a 9-3 lead, 7:29 to play in the first half.
And we'll see if Jones becomes a little tentative now, because he's been the guy trapped twice. As his game goes along, you start to think, whoa, these guys are closing in on me so quickly that you lose concentration. So we'll see how Jones reacts to that at the offensive end. Here he comes.
Jones, the pop. In and out. Pharaoh Davis, offensive rebound. It doesn't fall. Elliott ripped down the board. Want to remind our viewers in Boise, they will be leaving us in a few minutes to see another game of special interest. Northern Arizona and Cincinnati at 2:57 tip-off time Eastern. Foul called at the 17:01 mark of the first half, and Obina Akizi is going to the free throw line. Donnie Johnson trying to handle Akizi underneath the basket.
It's so important to Johnson and Davis down the other end for Utah State. Both of them play off one another very well, rebound well, but they have to be quick to block out first.
Akizi, one of the best big men in the ACC. The son of a Nigerian oil company owner. Played a year of prep school basketball in Worcester, Massachusetts. And he knocks down a pair as Maryland extends its lead. It's 11-3.
They're trying to get it to Saxon, no luck, so they're forcing it away. Now that's a successful trap. Now they get it back to Saxon, so it's in Utah State's control now.
Saxon off the spin. Matched up with Stokes.
Well, look at the strip. That's where they're good.
Davis couldn't hold on to it as Profit stepped in front for the steal and a foul.
See, they show you the full court action, but then when you get them in the half court, Maryland, a little run and jump. Now watch the catch. The catch is clean, but he doesn't see anybody coming from behind, and then he reaches into foul. Profit, good anticipation for that high post look.
Second personal on Davis. A 7-0 Terrapin run. Akizi knocks it down.
So they're allowing that catch in there early on. There's not many choices they have because they can opt to go around on front, stay behind, but if they let him catch, he's so big, he'll get his shot off. And a step on the line that's going to go the other way. Good pressure again. Position is so important down low. Now watch this easy catch. See, Birch is behind. Pass away from the defender on baseline side. The big fellow looks at his defender. They got to close that defensive area with Johnson a little quicker.
We talked about the height difference. Akizi and Elliott have combined for all the points, and Elliott is fouled by Donnie Johnson. 13 points for Maryland, 7 for Elliott, 6 for Akizi, and Elliott has a chance to tack some more on the board.
See, one of the things that I think Gary Williams has done very well is that he's decided that this is a team that we can go down low on. You see good position with Elliott looking for him. Profit evidently, has a shot and turns it down for a better look. But Gary Williams came in saying, hey, we're on the roll and we want to keep moving.
Want to remind our viewers in Boise that coming up, they'll be joining North Arizona and Cincinnati. 2:57 tip-off time. Coming up, Maryland 14-3 lead. Johnson gets it inside. Birch could not slam it.
And he can get off the floor, too.
Profit knocks it over to Yesikevicius.
Look at the extra passes, and when you shoot from the outside well, good rebounding position there by Utah State.
Marcus Saxon. The pull-up stroke.
Larry Eustace said yesterday when we spoke to him, this pressure is going to give them problems, but they're going to attack it whenever they get it past half court. He's staying with it, still down 14-5, though.
Saxon has scored all of Utah State's points. 9-point Maryland advantage.
For the most part, Maryland has taken 4 other players really off their game offensively.
And Davis and Johnson are in foul trouble with 2 apiece. Shot clock is down to 8. Stokes with 5. The 3. In and out.
Oh, big guy over the top.
Akese was battling on the interior. And they'll get the 6'10 junior on a loose ball foul. A timeout with 15:06 to play in the first half. Maryland, the early lead, 14-5 on Utah State.
So Maryland with the early lead, almost 5 minutes into the first half, 14-5 over Utah State. Welcome back to our New York studios, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Clark Kellogg and Dean Smith. And we are getting you set now for Northern Arizona against Cincinnati. The Bearcats, one of those teams everybody is going to quietly keep an eye on, Clark.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're an aggressive team. They've been on a roll of late. They dealt with a lot of early season adversity in terms of players injured and suspended and so forth. And now they feel like they have something to prove, and they do it defensively.
Cool. They have 9 straight wins. One over UNC Charlotte, but one. The others were a great win. So that's why they're a number 2 seed, I guess.
Yeah, you know, for the Lumberjacks, this is their first ever appearance in the tournament. Wondering what a team's mindset is coming in like that. We've had 2 blowouts and 1 tight game today. What do you expect from a first-time ever appearance?
Well, I tell you what, if they're not nervous, they're an excellent shooting team. So they can make shots, and that's going to be a key. Against an aggressive defense, you've got to be able to knock down some shots to try to take some of the starch out of a good defensive team.
All right, Northern Arizona, the number 15 seed out west against the Bearcats, seeded 2nd. Time to take you out to the action in Boise, Idaho at the BSU Pavilion. And let's join Jim Durham and Greg Kelser.
Second game of our West Region first round. The 15th-seeded Northern Arizona Lumberjacks ready to take on second-seeded Cincinnati in our Game 2. In Game 1 today, West Virginia as the 10th seed upset 7th-seeded Temple to move on. And the Mountaineers will meet the winner of this game at hand. Jim Durham with Greg Kelser back with you at courtside. We're in the pavilion here at Boise State University. You know, Greg, not a lot of people are familiar with Northern Arizona.
Well, they're a very exciting team. This team can shoot the basketball, and that's what they recruit at Northern Arizona. Guys that can shoot it with range. Their philosophy is if you can score, you can win.
Cincinnati, of course, ranked 14th in the country. People are familiar with them. They take their cue from Ruben Patterson.
Yeah, and this is a team that starts with defense, and Patterson, a terrific player, can get up and down the floor. Had to fight through early season suspensions that forced him to miss 14 games, but once back, he really made his impact felt on this team.
Ruben Patterson working his way through some personal tragedy over the last month or so after the death of his mother. As for Northern Arizona, we'll keep our eye on Andrew Mavis.
Oh, Mavis. Here's a guy that has the green light, can shoot it at any time. 47% from three-point land. He's the Big Sky's most valuable player. Uses good shot selection. That's the thing that I really like about him.
Ben Howland, the coach of the Lumberjacks in his 4th season at Northern Arizona, with a 54% winning percentage. And he sends the Lumberjacks out this way. Mavis, the only senior in the starting lineup. Hicks at the other forward, Frank in the middle, Ross Land, and Kavika Akina, a 5'10 junior guard, rounded out for Northern Arizona. Bob Huggins and the Bearcats, an impressive record, of course. Conference USA champs in the regular season and the tournament as well. And Bobby Brannon and Ruben Patterson, who we already talked about, they're the 2 forwards, 2 of 3 seniors in their starting group. DeJuan Baker from Fort Worth, Texas, at 6'2", the other senior. Kenyon Martin, a 6'8 sophomore, in the middle. And Michael Horton, a junior, in the backcourt. First time they've ever played in any sport. Northern Arizona, champions of the Big Sky tournament and conference during the regular season. The officials for our game 2, Edward Corbett, Steve Gordon, Stanley W. Rote. Northern Arizona has put together a 21-7 record overall. Boise State, it's the Bearcats controlling the tip. Baker puts it in the hands of Horton.
Cincinnati will want to make sure that Northern Arizona does not get the good looks from outside. Northern Arizona will want to make sure that they handle the pressure that they're going to see constantly from Cincinnati.
And there was the ball being knocked away by Patterson out of bounds away from Mavis. So the Lumberjacks bring it in.
One thing we noticed about Northern Arizona when we were watching tape of them, they don't spend a lot of time with the basketball. It goes in one guy's hands. If he has the shot, he'll take it. If he doesn't, he'll pass it to an open teammate.
Frank working out of the post. And the Lumberjacks have taken the lead. You hear the response from the crowd. Northern Arizona, of course, in the same conference, the Big Sky, with the host school here, Boise State.
It was a terrific post move by Frank. Very patient, gave 3 pump fakes, finally found an opening, and was able to knock it in off the glass.
Patterson working on Mavis. Blocked by Frank. Brannon a follow. Taken out by Northern Arizona. That was Hicks with the rebound. Aquino on the move. Overshoots the mark, but controls the ball and drew the foul on Baker.
If first impressions mean anything, then I would have to say that Northern Arizona is not going to be intimidated in this game. Now, there's the shot inside by Brannon. That was preceded by a nice block on Ruben Patterson, who was trying to get to the basket.
Hicks plays inside, and the ball is turned over. Ross Land turning the ball over along the baseline, so Cincinnati needing a hoop to tie. The Lumberjacks, as I mentioned, with the crowd behind them. Horton with a pitch out to Patterson. And also, maybe they're going to take a cue from our first game today when the underdog won.
Yeah, man-to-man defense right now by Northern Arizona.
Patterson sidesteps to 3. Recovers. No basket, a foul called. A foul is on Kavika Aquina. First foul of the game.
In defending Patterson, you've got to be able to take away his drive. He's not a good outside shooter, so you can force him to hoist it from outside and not let him get the lane. And you can do a good job of stopping him, as you can see on that play. Not even close with the jump shot.
Nothing but air. Aquina has lost the dribble. He needs some help. And Hicks gives it to him. We've played a little over 2 minutes in a 2-0 Northern Arizona lead. Frank gives it up. Hicks now Land with a 3 up there.
That was a good look. Something that you want to take away from Northern Arizona. They set good screens to help each other get open.
To give you an idea, they shoot .434 from three-point range as a team.
Another partially blocked shot inside.
And Cincinnati still scoreless, but another foul whistled here against Northern Arizona.
See, when you talk about athleticism, certainly Cincinnati has that. Now, quickness as a team is what Northern Arizona lacks. So you got to wonder, as this game plays out, will they be able to continue to be in that man-to-man defense going against Cincinnati, a team that's going to be much quicker.
Casey Frank called for the foul. Ruben Patterson shooting 2. A 60% free throw shooter. Patterson averages over 16 a game, and still the Bearcats scoreless.
Well, we had Temple earlier taking, what was it, 6 minutes to get their first point?
We saw Melvin Levitt at the scorer's table for the Bearcats, and now Patterson makes that one. Patterson going out of the game. Levitt is in to replace him.
Early substitution. One thing Bob Huggins told us yesterday, he sells defense to his players by simply saying, if you don't play defense, you don't play. I got to think that having Patterson come out of the game that early, maybe he was dismayed a little bit of his defensive effort.
Well, they played some defense that time, forcing Northern Arizona into its second turnover, and now Cincinnati with a chance at the lead. Horton has it off the inbounds. Levin, who just checked in. Ball knocked knocked loose. Akina a steal. He's got Levitt to beat at the other end. Uses the head fake. A loose ball into the hands of Frank for the basket. Casey Frank with the first 2 hoops for the Lumberjacks.
See, Frank has good foot movement, and his pump fakes will keep a shot-blocking defender off balance. He's used that move twice underneath to get himself free.
Levitt finds Brannon. Over Frank. Rimming no, and the rebound knocked away by Land, and Brannon in recovery.
Northern Arizona's got to make sure they put a body on people because they're not going to out-jump Cincinnati for rebounds.
Levitt. DeJuan Baker. Here's Brannon in the post. First field goal today for the Bearcats. Bobby Brannon with the hoop. Northern Arizona throwing ahead to Mavis. Cincinnati gets back to recover. Andrew Mavis. Now Akina. Almost 4 minutes have been played in the second game here in the first round. And the first 3 of the day rung up by Ross Land. And a 20-second timeout taken by Bob Huggins. Listen to the crowd at the pavilion at Boise State.
Well, when you talk about defense, sure, Cincinnati, they can play it, but so can Northern Arizona. There's Akina getting the steal. Now, he's not going to have a chance to get this shot off, but right there, readily available on the follow, is Frank. Now, Bob Huggins again says they cannot have this kind of look. If Northern Arizona is to get that type of time on their three-point shots, Cincinnati's going to have a very difficult time with them today.
That was Ross Land, who is a 44% three-point shooter, and a 4-point lead for the Lumberjacks. Michael Horton at the controls for Cincinnati. Boy, a missed steal that time by Northern Arizona. Bob Huggins making some changes. He's got Petrus in the lineup. That's Baker who hits the 3. DeJuan Baker countering the three-pointer by Northern Arizona.
Yeah, Baker can do that. 35% from three-point range. He's a spot-up shooter. You give him time, he can knock it down.
Akina splits the defense. Wow.
That's attacking pressure defense with intelligence. Akina saw the opening, got inside, and when you consider that on the wing he had capable three-point shooters, he may have some openings down the lane as Cincinnati tries to play the three-point shooters.
This is Baker, missed on that 3. And Mavis picks up the loose ball for the Lumberjacks. Akina walks it up, a 3-point lead for Northern Arizona early.
Well, Baker gets a lot of arch on that three-point shot, doesn't he?
McNair is 20, finding Mavis underneath. Knocked out of bounds by Petrus. A timeout taken with 14:54 left in the first half. Navika Akina going coast to coast.
You have a 3-on-1 break. Bring the big guy up, let him step across, and you're done.
Offensive foul on Obina Akizi, his second personal. And the Aggies can take the lead. Rice thought about it. Backs it out.
Still man-to-man. Whenever they get back, they generally, most of 95% of the time, will stay man-to-man.
Aggies have hit on their last 5 shots. Rice amongst the trees. Trying to get it over to Birch, but Maryland has it. Kovarik the lob.
Good help from the weak side by Jones.
Stripping the ball away from Elliott.
Great timing on that play. They know what they want to do.
Birch angling in. Tough shot.
Yeah, a little contact also with big guy down low. Thought Akizi may have hit him.
We approach the midway point of the first half. Tied at 18. Dennis driving to the rim. And the foul.
And if you remember way back at about the 4-minute mark, Larry Eustachy called a timeout and really got on his guys. And what they've started to do was, he said, if you guys are going to be intimidated, they're going to blow you out. Go back to going to the basket. Be aggressive. If you're going to lose, don't lose because you're passive and nervous. Lose because you're overly aggressive.
Larry Eustachy's club beat Minnesota early in the season. team that went to the Final Four last year, and that gave this Utah State squad a lot of confidence, despite the fact that Minnesota didn't have the kind of year they expected to.
Right.
It was an important win for the program.
It was, because most teams, especially in the NCAA, there's always a statement-type game that makes a statement for that team, and they start the confidence and to believe in themselves. And even if it happens, some of these coaches have even said, well, back in January, we played a big game. Well, you'd think, like, Gary Williams had a big game against Florida State when they were 0-2 in the conference. That was back in January. It was a turnaround-type game.
Aggies have their first lead.
Good look along the baseline.
The backdoor cut by Elliott.
When they're patient, when they work, and if they're ever hitting their outside shots, Maryland is a team to reckon with.
Tied at 20. This the first ever meeting between Maryland and Utah State. Elliott now has 10 to lead the Terps. Rice was on the sideline.
It's amazing how many kids I've seen do that in the college game this year. Backdoor cut along the baseline. Good little read down the other way. Very patient, that set from Maryland. They want to make sure that they don't come down and hit the quick triggers. If they're patient, they can work the ball down in the low blocks, the interior, the baseline, they're okay.
Mishandled by Elliott. Last touch, Utah State. Larry Eustace having a little chat with Kevin Rice.
Big fella wide open in the middle. They didn't get it to him.
Maryland has gotten just 2 points from their leading scorer on the season, Laron Profit. Yesikavicius has yet to score.
A little matchup zone right now.
Akizi, the floater.
If you can move the basketball, Akizi, a big guy down low. If you move it against that matchup zone, you're in pretty good shape. The key is making sure you move the ball quickly.
Akizi now with 8 points. 2-point Maryland lead. Saxon is fouled, and he was shooting a 3.
And a pretty long 3 also. You know, you have to respect the shot of Saxon. You have to go out a 45% shooter from 3-point range. But a little late getting there in the run over. That's a good call from the officials. Still in the middle of his shot, and Elliott runs him over.
Second foul on Rodney Elliott. Marcus Saxon, a junior college transfer, originally signed at Arkansas, never played for the Razorbacks. Came out of Columbia, South Carolina, AC Flora High School, a program that produced Xavier McDaniel and Tyrone Corbin.
Two guys have had fairly steady careers at the next level. And notice with Saxon at the line, the first shot he walked away from it. The next one he stayed on the line, and that one he stayed on the line better also. So 2 out of 3, and if you just look at your foot position, whether you move away from the basket or not, generally is an indicator of whether you're going to make free throws.
Mike Martisic in the game for Rodney Elliott. Tied at 22.
Look of a 2-3 zone right now.
Martisic, the leaner, comes up short. Athletic play on the inside. Profit couldn't convert. And here come the Aggies. Saxon the stop and go. Deflected by Profit. Out of bounds.
That hesitation dribble by Saxon is very, very good. Tries to get you to freeze from a defensive standpoint. If he can block you, get you standing up straight, that's where he blows by people.
Couldn't get it in, calls the timeout. A 20-second timeout with 8:17 to play in the first half. Utah State and Maryland tied at 22. The 4 seed, Maryland. The 13 seed, Utah State. Let's welcome in the third member of our broadcast team here in Sacramento. Mike Harris standing by. Mike.
All right, thanks, Ian. Here I am with Farrell Davis's dad, Earl. You've seen most of Utah State's games this year.
Yes, we have.
How surprised are you with the way they're playing today?
Well, I'm not really surprised at the way they came out. Maryland is a tough ball club, but Utah State is a really underrated club. They have a lot of speed, and when they utilize that speed, they're a hard team to defend. And for a club like Maryland that hasn't seen them, this is a hard adjustment that they're going to have to make throughout the game because we play like this the whole game.
Well, good luck to you and your son.
Thank you very much.
You know, this guy is 6'4". He might be able to help Utah State.
That's right. Okay.
They could use some height up front, but right now Utah State unfazed by this matchup. They've regained the lead.
And he is absolutely correct with his analysis, too. They started out shaky, but they do battle. There's a little reach in. Good.
Geddes went for the steal, and he'll get called for the foul.
Good spot against that 2-3 zone is trying to get the ball to the 12-foot area to your big people, and that's what Maryland's trying to do. Watch for a little high-low action next time down against the zone.
That is the 17th foul. So a 1-on-1 situation for Mike Martisic. Opened some eyes with a 12-point, 9-rebound performance in the victory over North Carolina this season. Turned down a chance to go to Harvard after scoring 1,300 on his SATs. Wanted to play in the ACC and getting the opportunity.
That's what you and I got combined with
Yes.
the SATs.
I saw your score. 24-23, Aggies.
Four spread. Four guys along the baseline gives them some room to function out front.
Saxon with 12 points to lead all scorers. Saxon once again fouled. And he's going to the strike with 7:29 to play in the first half.
And Stokes is trying to contain him.
That's number 2 on Maryland point guard Terrell Stokes.
Plenty of moves in here, though. 2 dribbles to his right. That's still a spin dribble and a drift away. Can't tell you how difficult that is to defend when a guy understands how to use his footwork to get the spacing.
5 straight appearances for Maryland, and that's a problem.
We're not supposed to be doing that for a couple of weeks. Cutting down the nets.
We'll step aside. 24-23, Utah State in front.
11:25 left in the half. CBS Sports Line, that's the place to follow all the March mayhem. Real-time scores, interviews, and more. Go to keyword CBS Sports Line on America Online.
Connecticut. First round game between Illinois, Chicago, and UNC Charlotte. 6 ties and 4 lead changes in this game. And right now the 49ers lead it by 3, Clark.
And it's the kind of game you would expect. 8-9 seeds. 16 points, DeMarco Johnson, player of the year in his conference. He's the real key for UNC Charlotte. I think if Illinois Chicago is going to have a chance to prevail in this game, they've got to try to contain DeMarco inside.
8 different UIC players have scored in this game. Interesting to see a team that not a whole lot of people were sure was going to make the tournament. They come out, they shoot the ball, they show no fear of being in the tournament whatsoever.
Well, they're a confident group. They're a fairly experienced group, and even though this is their first time in the tournament as a team, this squad believes that they can knock somebody off.
Do you think those 8-9 matchups are some of the best in the tournament?
Always on paper they are. Sometimes they don't work out that way between the lines, but this one has all the makings of being close throughout.
Well, as you can see, they're coming up on 3.5 minutes to play in the first half, and UNC Charlotte with a 2-point lead at 27-25. They're still working on the net out in Sacramento. Long-range shot doesn't connect, and now they're under the 3.5-minute mark, and UNCC with a 2-point lead. Meanwhile, at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C., first-round action between Richmond and South Carolina, and right now, the Gamecocks with a 14-8 lead on the Spiders.
And again, their guards are the key to their attack. They haven't gotten consistent scoring from the guys up front. That means Mackey and Watson have to carry the offensive load, and they're more than capable, averaging about 30, 31 points a game between them.
South Carolina on a 6-point run right now, and they're 4 out of 5 from behind the arc so far.
Well, they can do that. Mackey and Watson, again, they make it happen, penetrating as well as knocking down the 3-point shot.
14-9 is the score. South Carolina with the lead on the Richmond Spiders. The Spiders coming in out of the Colonial Athletic Association with a 22-7 mark. And as we said earlier, first appearance for them in 7 years. Nice for them to be back.
Exactly. And they can be dangerous.
Any followers for them traveling down to Washington?
No, I would think so.
Richmond within 4 at this point as they come up on 13.5 minutes to play in the first half. And South Carolina seeded number 3 in the East with the lead at 14-10. Meanwhile, in the other first-round game in the West taking place in Boise, Idaho, between Cincinnati and Northern Arizona, this game is now tied at 18. You surprised by this one?
Somewhat, but not overly so. Again, Cincinnati has struggled shooting the ball all year. We know they defend and rebound, only 6 of 19 thus far shooting the ball, and Northern Arizona, one of the best shooting teams in the country, and you can always stay close if you can make shots.
They are 8 of 13 from the field. The Lumberjacks are the number 15 seed. I don't imagine you get a whole lot of respect at number 15.
No, you don't, but when you start knocking down shots at the rate they are, and they're quick, they're not very big, but they're quick, and they can spread you out, and that way they get high-quality shots.
Whistle blows to stop play there. They are under the 8.5-minute mark now in Boise. And Northern Arizona making the Big Sky proud right now.
Holding their own. And you know, with these teams that are lower seeded, as they continue to stay close in games where they're not expected to compete, the confidence just grows and grows.
All right, Clark. Meanwhile, good news from Sacramento. There is a new net in place, Utah State and Maryland. It's a 1-point lead for Utah State. Let's rejoin Ian Eagle and Jim Spinarco.
Patterson. Mavis guarding him. It's going to be an interesting day for Mavis. He's having the toughest defensive assignment, and he's also counted upon to score. McNair moved in there to make the steal. Great effort. Now McNair may be injured. Holly Blank under some pressure. Knocked loose by Cincinnati. Petrus to the loose ball. Baker. Martin. Yep. And a foul.
Now, I think they've got an injured player going to check on. And there's the ball going inside, but look at Martin once again up over the crowd and getting a putback for Cincinnati.
You're right about the injury. 7:22 left for the half. Cincinnati has pulled even at 20.
First half.
One of 3 MCC teams in the tournament for, that is Illinois, Chicago, at 22-5. A lot of people are surprised that they're there. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., Richmond and South Carolina, the Gamecocks, with a 6-point lead on the Spiders.
Well, it's not been the Mackey and Watson show. Watson has yet to score, but Antonio Grant, who had a couple of game-winning baskets in a couple of games during the regular season, has given them 5 points here.
Spiders have hit a cold spell. They haven't hit a field goal in the last 6 minutes and change. And you see the clock moving up on 11 minutes to play, yet they're only down 3.
Yeah, just knocked down the triple to maintain contact. And when you're the underdog and the lower-seeded team, you just want to keep close. You want to start making that favorite be a little uncomfortable, try to frustrate them a little bit.
Meanwhile, in Sacramento, first-round game between Utah State and Maryland. The Terps up by just 2. Coach, what are you thinking about Maryland?
Well, Maryland's so difficult to defend, and Utah State was playing a man-to-man. Now they went to a zone and having much more success, except for Profit on that back door. They like to throw that up to Profit against a zone or a man.
Maryland, at one point in this game, held a 14-3 lead, but Utah State has come back to make a game of it.
Maintained their poise, started knocking down some shots, and they've been able to keep contact. Stay close.
Under 5 minutes to play in that game out in Sacramento in the first half for the number 13 seed Aggies of Utah State and the 4th seeded Maryland Terrapins. Meanwhile, let's return you now to the action in Boise, Idaho, Northern Arizona, and Cincinnati. Jim Durham and Greg Kelso.
The card game summary with Maryland up by 4. Terps shooting the ball well, but Utah State hanging tough at 48%. Turnovers even. And the story for Utah State has been Saxon and their bench.
And if you could write one line to describe it, I think also, those are the numbers telling the story. I think the description would be that Utah State believes they can play with them now.
Kovarik got caught underneath the basket in the giveaway. Coming up on 3 minutes to play in the first half. 36-32 Maryland. Davis gets it back from Geddes.
Good help on the blocks.
Rice back in the game for Utah State.
Jones has to get in a spot to shoot. He's too far out on the floor on the left side. He's got to move in closer to get his 3.
Shot clock trickling down. 6 on the timer. Saxon.
Pretty.
The dump off for Davis. Maryland looking to add to its 4-point lead, and Profit goes off the window.
See, that's what they need him to do. They need him to get active and do some slashing, get involved offensively. He's only made 2 of his 6 shots.
6 points for Profit. Pull-up jump for Saxon.
The Gambles, they're taking advantage of it. When Maryland comes out and makes a mistake, they make him pay.
It's 38-34 Maryland. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Profit off the mark. Geddes couldn't grab it. Down to 1:52 left. (38-34). The 4th-seeded Maryland Terrapins leading the 13th seed Utah State. And Sharunas Yesikavicius connects on another 3-pointer.
He's getting some good looks, too, and the fact that he gets the ball up so quickly, if you make a split-second decision and it's a wrong one defensively, he's burying it on you.
3 from long range. Yesikavicius has 9. 7-point advantage for the Terps.
Patient, though, at the half-court set. Utah State, they have an opportunity to break. They have been breaking. It's been all Saxon in the paint.
Off the dish. Elevating as he rocks the rim.
That's what I've been waiting for. I've seen him get off the floor in action.
He is a highlight reel waiting to happen and will be a part of the NCAA dunk competition at the Final Four in his hometown of San Antonio.
Hard to believe, too. He didn't win the dunk contest for their own team this year, with Birch winning it.
1 minute left in the first half. Off the entry fee. Maryland turns it over. Utah State got off to a slow start. They appeared to be intimidated by Maryland early on, but they have come back strong. Five-point lead for Maryland. Geddes on a kick out. Saxon. Good box out by Elliott.
See, they're still getting good shots, though. Utah State just has to knock them down.
Elliott, long 3-pointer, he buries it.
If the 3 starts to rain on Utah State from the Maryland standpoint, it will turn into a long afternoon for them.
Coming up, the Pennzoil at the half. Greg Gumbel, Clark Kellogg, and Dean Smith in our studios with highlights, scores, plus a live look at all the action going on in the NCAA tournament. Final moments of the first half with Maryland leading it by 8. Utah State holding for 1. Down to 6. Rice, a breakdown player, driving in. Ball knocked around. Yesikavicius gets it ahead. Kovarik at the buzzer. Doesn't go down. And that will do it for the first half in Sacramento. Maryland 44. Utah State 36. Let's check in with Mike Harris.
All right, thanks very much. I am with Maryland coach Gary Williams. Coach, based on what
NCAA basketball championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
To tie or along with Gibson the lead. They haven't been able to free up that potent three-point shooting attack, though, much in this first half.
Well, you got Cincinnati fighting over the screens a lot better, and the looks, the time that Northern Arizona had early on in this game has diminished.
Kenyon Martin called for that foul, his second. And finally, the Lumberjacks get to the free throw line. Dan McClintock gets there to shoot 2. The first 2 free throws of the day.
You remember early on when Land was coming off screens, he was unguarded. Not anymore. When he comes off those screens now, there's a defender right in his face, usually denying him the basketball.
Now Land going out of the game as Billy Hicks comes back in for Northern Arizona. Levitt back in there. There's that free throw difference. McClintock about to attempt their second one of the half, and that ties the game at 24. Adika Akina is also back in. Ryan Fletcher playing with that cast on his left hand. Ryan Fletcher of Cincinnati. We've had 4 ties so far in this first half. Second game, round 1 of the West region. And another foul called on Northern Arizona. It's on McClintock, and that's his third.
They're going to run out of players if this continues.
Because he's their size up front, 7 foot 255. Bobby Brannon getting back to the free throw line where he made his 2 free throw attempts earlier in the half.
Well, for 3 years, Brannon was a role player for Cincinnati, a guy totally willing to sacrifice. Now he's being asked to step up, and he has in a big way. Averaged 3 points a game for much of his career. This year coming in with 15 points a game. A superb player and an excellent transformation from role player to guy that's much needed out there.
Outside shot for Levitt.
One game at halftime and 3 others in progress. We will bring you up to date on each and every one of them right now.
CBS Sports presents Pennzoil at the Half, sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Okay, so it's 2 games at halftime. Welcome back to our studios in New York, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Clark Kellogg and Dean Smith. We were at halftime of the game in Sacramento, where Maryland holds a 44-36 lead on Utah State. Meanwhile, at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C., the Richmond Spiders and the South Carolina Gamecocks all tied at 25 at about 4.5 to play in the first half. Let's join Sean McDonough and Bill Raftery.
25 all, Richmond and South Carolina with 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Richmond, the number 14 seed, with a chance to take the lead. Darrell Oliver, the length of the floor to the lay-in.
And most of the adults could relate to that layup as well. Good activity defensively. And when you turn it over there, nobody back to balance.
It seems most of the teams, most of the fans in the crowd who don't have a rooting interest in this game particularly have taken up the cause of the underdog Richmond. They're roaring as the Spiders have scored 7 unanswered. Coleman leans into Hensel and drew the foul on Hensel, his first.
And Sean, your point, the crowd, Coppin State, the same thing happened up in Pittsburgh. All of a sudden they weren't interested, took over, got Coppin a little support. That's happening here. So South Carolina's got to knock some shots down to get some semblance in the building.
Number 20, William Gallman goes to the South Carolina line.
Goes to the line. The junior from Chester, South Carolina, about 45 minutes north of Columbia. 1 out of 4 from the line. He grew up a huge South Carolina fan.
Number 54,
actually committed to the Gamecocks as a junior in high school.
Returned to the South Carolina lineup, replacing Williams and Grant.
Eddie Fogler substituting a great deal. I don't think fatigue means as much first-round game. Do you?
No.
When you got time off.
And these teams both have enough depth that it should not be a concern.
So Richmond and South Carolina all tied at 27, under 3.5 minutes to play in the first half. These Richmond Spiders, are they surprising you? Probably not.
Well, not, because we've played them before, but so did, Richmond did beat Indiana and Georgia Tech and Syracuse as a 15th seed, so they're for real, and South Carolina's got to play better.
When you say we played them before, you mean you, me, and Clark?
Yeah, 3 of us. We had a big guy with us anyway. We need another
I figure for at least 5 years he can be forgiven for saying we with North Carolina, don't you?
I'm in a forgiving mood.
Yeah, you always are. Meanwhile, in first-round West action in Boise, Idaho, Northern Arizona with a 2-point lead on Cincinnati, under 1.5 minutes to play. Let's take you out there and join Jim Durham and Greg Kelson.
They are rocking and rolling it. Boise State as Northern Arizona Arizona has opened up a 5-point lead late in the half against heavily favored Cincinnati.
And if you're Cincinnati, you have to expect this. You're the favorite. You're going against an overwhelming underdog. Now, I'm looking into the stands. I'm seeing West Virginia people cheering for Northern Arizona. I'm seeing some Temple people cheering for them. They are the underdog in this game.
This is Kavika Akina here.
Just tossing it up there. And that to beat the shot clock as well as the defense of William Patterson.
Brannon hitting the free throw. Baker coming back. Levitt going out for Cincinnati.
That bit of action as Brannon knocks it down. Makes it a 3-point game, favor Northern Arizona. The basket by Akina and the three-pointer by McNair. Quick 5-point surge for Northern Arizona and clearly established them as the crowd favorite in this game.
Akina off the pickup. Mavis to McNair. The shot clock at 20, about 17 difference. As Polly Blank made the drive, he was fouled by Fletcher. First foul on Fletcher. Only the 6th team foul on Cincinnati. But now Northern Arizona can play it out. There's no shot clock involved. 33.5 left in the half.
Yeah, should be assured of... Oh, where's that? A good screen set that up. I was about to say Northern Arizona should be assured of going into the halftime locker room with the lead. I didn't expect that opening them to manifest itself that soon.
Patterson controlling for the Bearcats. The final seconds of the half. And a 5-point lead for the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks. The 15th seed in the West. Patterson losing it in the lane. Recovered by the Lumberjacks. A long heave by Mavis at the buzzer. Listen to the crowd at Boise.
So at halftime, it's a 31-26 lead for the Lumberjacks over Cincinnati. At halftime, Clark, are the Bearcats and their fans in a little bit of shock right now?
I think they probably are, but 23% shooting is a heck of a... That's a poor shooting percentage. It's a great return on a stock portfolio, but the Bearcats have to do a better job shooting the basketball.
All right, Clark. Meanwhile, they're at halftime in Hartford, Connecticut in the first-round game there between Illinois, Chicago, and the 49ers of UNC Charlotte and UNCC with a 5-point lead, and they're just underway now in the second half. I want to remind you, join us tonight, 7:30 Eastern Time for primetime coverage. Tipping off at about 7:40 is number 12 UNLV and the 5th-seeded Princeton Tigers, the champions of the Ivy League. Some of you will see Oklahoma against Bob Knight in Indiana. Other teams in action include Tennessee and Utah State. What did you want to say about Utah State and Maryland?
Well, I think Maryland has to do a better job of throwing it down inside to Okeke. I know I played in the paint when I played, but they've got to get it to the big fella because they've got a huge size advantage inside.
You weigh heavily into those big fellas.
Yeah, I'd like to see them
Second
work.
half action is coming up. We will take a timeout, and the road to the Final Four continues in just a moment.
Pennzoil at the half has been sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Right up.
CBS Sports presents Pennzoil at the half, sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Welcome back to our studios here in New York, everyone, along with Special K and the Dean. I'm Gumby. We're at halftime of the game in Boise, where the Cincinnati Bearcats are trailing Northern Arizona by a score of 31-26. Meanwhile, first-round game at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C., Richmond and South Carolina. It's the Spiders by 2. Let's join Sean McDonough and Bill Raftery.
33 seconds left in the first half. Crowd buzzing as Richmond, the number 14 seed, has a 2-point lead on the 3-seed South Carolina. The shot clock now at 18, about a 4-second difference between the time remaining on the shot clock and the time left in the half.
And Baker goes in the backcourt to talk to the coach. They like a lot of back screens, too.
Need to start looking toward the basket with 5 to shoot. Brown, that's a 2, and now a 3. Maybe officials originally pointing at the line, but then raising the hands, and the 3-point signal. What a half for John Beilein of the Richmond Spiders.
South Carolina 29.
South Carolina, you have to be wondering if it's a case of here we go again. End of the first half. The score, Richmond 34 and South Carolina 29.
Welcome back to Pennzoil at the half, everyone. We are at halftime of the game in Washington, where the Richmond Spiders hold the lead over South Carolina by a score of 34-29. Coach Dean Smith has been all over these Spiders so far today. What do you think?
Well, I was impressed with him, but now I didn't know Brown was going to make 5 out of 6 threes. I know Coach Folger was going to talk to him at a half about stopping Brown's 3, and then Stevenson could break out, too. He's a heck of a player.
South Carolina, Melvin Watson has been bageled. No points, and he's a big factor for them. He's got to get going in the second half.
Bagel. No points. Meanwhile, in Sacramento, California, Utah State and Maryland at halftime. Maryland with a 44-36 lead on the Agate. Ian Eagle and Jim Spinarco are standing by at Arco Arena in Sacramento.
Donnie Johnson getting his first bucket of the day at Utah State, trailing Maryland by 6, just underway in the second half.
Jackson, point play, still keeping them alive.
Jones hitting the deck. He collided with Yesikavicius, and it is Jones getting tagged with a personal foul. Larry Eustache, 5th year at Utah State, 8th overall as a head coach. He has posted a winning record in each of his 8 years. On the inside, too easy.
Zoned out of bounds just then also, and that's where the size comes into play. You have to really pack it in early, force the kick to the corner or out to the wings from out of bounds.
Obina Akizi now with 12 points. 8-point game. Saxon had a terrific first half, but lost the ball. Deflects it to the outside.
Whoa, watch out.
Going over the top, Jones. The spin by Crawford. Athletic play.
Absolutely. So good in the open floor. A terrific effort by the Utah players going after the basketball.
But Maryland up by double figures. It's 10.
There's that strong trap right in front of us, forcing the timeout. Difficult place to get trapped because the backcourt and the sideline out of bounds act as almost 2 invisible defenders. You can't step either way.
It is a 20-second timeout called by Utah State. Justin Jones, scrappy player going after a loose ball.
And unfortunately, both of them went after it at the same time. And Jones disappears over the bench. Watch the quick spin here. Profit catch, spin, deliver. And here's the play. Both of them go at it, collide, and that's when you are hoping that somebody's sitting in the press row over there to catch you a little bit. Telephones, everything goes off the table. Bounces right up, though. They're tough. Tough kid.
Utah State has used its last 20-second timeout at the 18-15 mark of the second half. Aggies get it in. 25 victories this season, a school record. Wins over Minnesota, BYU, Long Island University. Not much time to work with, though. Down to 6.
To break him down. Rice is going to have to, if he doesn't realize it, Saxon points it out, though, for him.
Rice. And a shot clock violation.
Saxon was aware of the play in the...
Ian Eagle, Jim Spinarco, thanks very much. So it's a 10-point lead for Maryland. You know, Maryland led by 11 early in this game before Utah State came back to tighten it up. What's been going on here?
Defense. Maryland's come out in the second half and established themselves again defensively, and when they pressure you, that's when they're at their best.
All right, meanwhile, in Hartford, Connecticut, first-round game, Illinois, Chicago, and UNC Charlotte, the 49ers, with a 10-point lead with just under 14 minutes to play in the second half. We want to remind you, join us tonight, 7:30 Eastern Time for primetime coverage. Tipping off at about 7:40 p.m. is number 12, UNLV, against the number 5 seed Princeton Tigers, champions of the Ivy League. Some of you will see Oklahoma against Indiana with Coach Bob Knight on the sideline. Other teams in action include Tennessee and Utah. We'll get you out to second half action in Boise, Idaho, right after this.
Pennzoil at the half has been sponsored by Pennzoil. Specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
46-44 lead. We'll keep you updated on the score of that game at the top of